and probably your newest product, although there's already been a review out, has been your new vibration control solution, which is
we talked a little bit about the Panzerholz stuff, and I got very interested in that material, and very difficult initially just to find it, and then get some of it, and then find people who can work with it. But it looked to me to be a possibly kind of ideal material for audio related stuff. It's a densified wood product made in Germany. It's like a kind of a super plywood in a roundabout way, but it machines more like metal, almost like aluminum.
It's bulletproof, I think, isn't it?
Well, it has been used that way, yes. I mean, so yeah, it was used in some bulletproofing, applications. Anyway, it's very dense, and it's non-metallic, and those are things that I like. That works for me for a number of things. So the AC Nexus chassis is made out of that. That's how I got started originally in working with it, but we're putting it to more and more use now. And I mentioned that I've done the preamplifier chassis in that as well now, which was a huge pain, but I managed to get that done. But anyway, along the way, I like Stillpoints technology. I like the results I get from their products. And I started using their standoffs under my circuit boards several years ago. But Rick Brown also is a dealer and works a lot with the Stillpoints. And in fact, so now they are included with the burning amplifiers. You may wind up with a different exact foot depending on what your needs are, but they come with that technology. And I get good results. I mean, I know there's a lot of differences of opinion about this sort of stuff. That's fine. But I get good results. And then I started thinking, it seems to me that the Panzerholz would be a very good platform material to use with these things. And so I came up with the idea of making what I now call the UFO isolation disc. And as you have gotten into, working with isolation, isolation's a word that's often misused in this business. And in fact, when I say it's a UFO, Panzerholz UFO ISO disc or, isolation disc, it helps people kind of get the idea of what it's supposed to be. But it isn't true isolation in the sense that you're typically, referring to it when you have spring decoupled systems under your speakers and that sort of thing that really do isolate those devices mechanically from, mechanically coupled vibration in both directions. The Panzerholz disc is either a 10-inch or 12-inch disc of Panzerholz material, which is approximately an inch thick, 25 millimeter thick material. So these are quite heavy. And then I have a pattern of holes that I put in them with threaded inserts for 1/4 thread. And then I take Stillpoints Ultra Minis and have 3 up and 3 down, but they are offset so that any vibrational energy getting into one has to pass through the Panzerholz before it, gets to the other one and vice versa. And this has, it's programmable in the sense that you can change the layout of these things within the pattern of the holes that I give you. And so you can match it, better to a particular piece of equipment. The idea is these work best against a hard surface with the 3 up, 3 down Stillpoints thing, but I also provide hardened steel spikes so that if you are on a carpet, you can go through the carpet to the floor underneath with the spikes and have the 3 Stillpoints up. And I love this thing because it's super convenient. Once you get it all arranged, you can hold it in one hand. And it's relatively easy to place under your components. There's pretty much no practical weight limit for what you can put on these. And then it's easy to experiment with adjusting the positioning, rotation, you know, of it to find the sweet spot where everything works the best. Anyway, that's now available, and I like the effect very much. I had an experience shortly after I had first developed these things where my partner Patrick put an amplifier, an upgraded amplifier in the system for us to then subsequently listen to. This one happened to be based on a DNA 225, which is a relatively, you know, it's kind of a large-ish amplifier.
Yeah.
So he had put it in the system when I was gone. I was away, and then I came, you know, got back, and he said, by the way, you know, we need to listen to this amp to get it, do the adjustments, do the voicing stuff, whatever, what have you. I said, okay, yeah, I'll do that. So I think, you know, like that afternoon or something, I went out and you know, it was sitting there on, ready to go, and I spun a disc and was just listening briefly. I just wanted to get it going, you know, and I kind of stopped and went like, wow, that sounds really good. It's like, huh. The top end is incredibly, you know, open and extended and detailed, and it's like, it really stopped me. It was like, huh. This, you know, something about this is better than usual. And so like the next day, Pat came over for us to do, you know, some listening tests with it. And I was listening to it again going like, what the heck? And we typically have the top off of these amps as I'm working on them. So I'm over there looking down at this amp going like, huh. And he's there. I said, so, you know, which wire did you use here? And what did you do here? And, you know, what about this? And it's like, it's all the usual stuff. It's all the same stuff we've been doing. I'm going, huh, what the heck? And then I realized that I'm looking at this thing and it's like, it's raised up off of the platform that it was on. And I hadn't noticed that. I just hadn't really looked. And I'm looking down and I see that it's up higher than usual. So I lean over, look underneath, and sure enough, there's an ISO disc underneath it. So I went, aha. And that was what was the story.
Well, that's I'll put a link to, you've already had a good review. I think some people have already bought it. Everybody you sent it out to from what I understand has bought it. So I'll put it, but imagine a sandwich of the Panzerholz at the thicknesses he mentioned, and then still points on either side of it. And the ability to move them, I will say with my own videos on vibration control, using the more mechanical decoupling method for mechanical devices like subwoofers and speakers, I found that the placement of those things made a difference, measurable, and then I had to change the layout and I could see differences. So having that ability with the platform is an added benefit, both on top and the bottom. And Stillpoints have always been highly regarded. One of the things that I can just say as an anecdotal for audiophiles out there is I usually look at how well does something maintain its used value. And that kind of tells you how good the product is over the years. And Stillpoints, even on the used market, are pretty tough to come by at a significant discount. So although I don't use them myself in my products, in my system right now, I mean, those are definitely legitimate from what Steve and others have told me in their applications. So yeah, I'm anxious to try out that platform. I just like the fact that it's called UFO. You know, I gotta have it.
You know, it's the disc thing. The name kind of suggested itself, you know, the flying disc.
It looks great. And then, you know, I would also say there's always going to be people saying snake oil this, snake oil that. And it is a little bit harder to understand why vibration control would work on a solid state piece of equipment. And so, you know, I think the key is trying it yourself. And what I would just say is, you know, Steve's not out there on the forums pimping this stuff. He's not putting thousands of dollars on AudioGone ads, not even going to the shows. I don't think he cares one way or the other if you buy it or not. And over the years, I haven't got some of the mods like I said, that I was skeptical about. So, I would just find somebody like Steve to try it with that has the experience that you've heard about today and the ability to do all types of products. That's one way I've found over the years to kind of sift through the snake oil parts. That is a legitimate part of the hobby, unfortunately, from legitimate things that maybe can improve your system. So hopefully you got some value today from this talk with Steve. Is there anything else, Steve, you wanted to chime in on?
Oh, no, I'm sure there's lots of other things we could talk about. This is probably enough for one session.
I know your phone's already blowing up, and you're usually pretty busy. Anytime I talk to you, you get a call. So
okay.
I don't want to keep you too long.
I appreciate this very much, and it's been a nice chat. I'm just trying to think, is there anything else that we haven't covered?
We will give links to everything, your site. We'll put some pictures up.
Again, okay, the website thing, as you know very well, there's not much of anything there. The point of the website is a way for people to find us. Mm-hmm. The idea is to call us and talk about what you're looking for, what your questions are, what your goals are. And really talking is easier than trying to do a lot of this stuff by email as well. Simple questions, email, no problem. But even sometimes what appear to be simple questions at first turn into complex, issues. And so, feel that you're welcome to call Patrick or myself, and we'll try to, make sense out of where you're headed and what we might be able to do for you.
Yeah, I always tell people don't judge a book by its cover, and in this case, don't judge the website by the cover. It's just too busy to have it updated, and that's a good sign, and I can just vouch for the quality of the product. And we're actually going to have some shootouts here. I had the local dealer show. In fact, I haven't even told you the local dealer guy here that you've seen in my previous videos. He carries quite high-end stuff.
Yeah, very good look. That's a 3MA or
3MA audio. He came to my house the other night and was really impressed by the system in general. So we're probably going to do some shootouts with my amps and the Burmesters, and he's carrying Boulder now. So these are all price points much higher than, I can't emphasize enough the value you get. And like I've mentioned before, I find this a high-end experience going this route. And just being able to talk to Steve. Obviously, I don't like to bug him too much, but when I have questions about vintage gear, you can hear from this talk today. He goes back to the 70s. He's a little bit older than me. So he's got experience. And even though I pretty much have gone to more shows than the average audiophile and have seen and heard much more, but I still learn stuff like I even learned today from Steve. So having this relationship is very valuable to me. Products have been valuable, so I can't recommend Steve and SMC Audio enough. So anything else, Steve?
I think that'll do it for now. We'll get some photos and things to you to back up what we've talked about here, so people can get some visuals. But yeah, the website is, to call it basic is being generous, but that's because we just want people to contact us and give us a call.
Yeah, don't hesitate to give him a call. Patrick is the person you're normally going to talk to first.
Right.
Very knowledgeable. Been with you forever, right?
Yeah, long time.
Okay. And also stay tuned. I'm going to have a video of Doug's project with Steve, the preamp and amp that we talked about.
That's ongoing. It's going to take a while for all that to come together, but hopefully, we'll have fun going over all of that stuff and you talking with him about it and getting to hear the results with the MBLs. I look forward to that. Yeah,
so stay tuned for that, the shootouts. And if anything else comes up, Steve, we'll do this again. So appreciate your time today.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Jason.
Take care.